Hey guys, I hope this finds you well and everybody's doing okay. Sorry for the plethora of dogs. As I said yesterday, I've got my hands kind of full. So anyway, if I didn't give you introductions yesterday, this is Owen and this is Fritz. Apparently they're going to be helping me teach today. So let's talk about the second part of Winter Dreams. So when we left off, Dexter and Judy started to get a little hot and heavy, right? And we start to see this development in Dexter and in his dreams, right? He starts off as a caddy. He has these dreams of winning this tournament with this kind of bigwig, right? T.A. Hedrick, and ends up actually beating him in golf, okay? Well, we at least find out that he's not as good as a golfer as Dexter thought he was, right? So in part 4, which is a really lengthy part of Winter Dreams, Dexter and Judy start this kind of fling, if you will, because Judy doesn't seem to have relationships, right? But Dexter is infatuated with Judy. And what's even more crazy is we watch how he moves from being this kind of young boy, right, full of conviction and desire, to this man that isn't as loyal to his convictions anymore, right? He walks out of the golf course because he's annoyed by the treatment that Judy Jones gave him. And here, Judy Jones is treating him pretty terribly, and he's kind of going through the paces for her. So we start to learn too. So Dexter comes into Judy Jones' home thinking that he's different from all the other guys, right? He's stronger, I forget what other word that he used, okay, but he's the self-made man that these other men aren't. And he kind of puts himself up on airs with that idea. But then he comes to find out that he's only one of a dozen that Judy is dating at the time. So from there, we start to see these other relationships that Judy has, right? She has these men that she kind of keeps in the reserves, if you will, and then she kind of comes back to them, making sure that they feel loved and adored, and then she kind of puts them back on the shelf for a little bit, okay? These boys are literally her toys, okay? So Dexter starts to realize this, and the other thing he realizes is that when a new guy comes into town, Judy flocks over to that guy, right, to see what's going on with him. And this ends up happening to Dexter on one of their dates, okay? And Judy goes off with this other guy, and she tells Dexter that she didn't kiss him, but Dexter knows that she did. But for some strange reason, he appreciates that she lied to him. Okay. Which again shows us too that Dexter he's grasping at straws here, right? He's thinking, oh, well, she lied to me. That means that she cares about my feelings. And if she cares about my feelings, she cares about me, okay? So I know that it's really hard to read this board from the iPad. I do apologize. Says Festinger, okay? So we see Leon Festinger's theory again resonating with Dexter, right? Dexter is well aware of Judy dating these other guys, okay? And he's also well aware of several aspects of Judy, okay? He even mentions later that she'd make a terrible wife, right? And then he also mentions that he knows that Judy is honestly indifferent towards him. She acts like she's really interested and romantically involved with him, but in reality, she really doesn't care. The only thing that Judy Jones cares about is Judy Jones. So we see this with Dexter. Judy, we can characterized as being charming, but she's fickle, okay? She gets bored easily, okay? Even in a span of 30 minutes, right? When Dexter and her are out on the porch, she's already yawning and then she starts to cry, okay? So she gets bored easily. Which makes us wonder too, what does this have to tell us about the social class that Judy is in, right? She's dating all these other guys, but she can't seem to settle on one of them. What does that tell us about Judy Jones and her character? Okay, why is she like this? Why is she so fickle? Why is she so indifferent? Why is she so jaded? Okay, these are all things to think about this character, and why is Fitzgerald crafting her in this way? Food for thought. So we go back to Dexter here, and at one point he even dreams, right? So we see the second dream come about with Dexter, that him and Judy are going to get married and they're going to go and live in New York together. Okay. So he has this dream, but he knows ultimately, eventually, it's not going to come true. So 18 months after him and Judy have had their fling, he ends up getting engaged to this nicer girl, Irene Shear. Okay. And what's interesting and slightly ironic is that same indifference that Judy had towards Dexter, Dexter actually has towards Irene. Okay. He says that he knows that she's going to be a good wife, and he knows that she's going to keep the house spick span, and he knows that she's going to be delightful to all of his friends and be a really good social status symbol. But he also knows he's never going to feel that same excitement as he does when he's with Judy Jones, okay? So there's something kind of interesting between this dynamic with Judy and Dexter, okay? It's kind of this toxic relationship, right? Dexter likes that he has to keep chasing Judy, okay? And he has this certain image of Judy in his head, okay, that he doesn't let go of, okay? This dream of Judy Jones, okay? So Irene Shear and Dexter are engaged. One night, Dexter goes to pick up Irene for a date, and she ends up having this migraine. The mom says, oh, you can spare her an evening. Oof, apparently not. And Dexter goes to this party, right? And remember, Irene was supposed to go to this party with Dexter. And what's interesting about this too, at one point he even mentions that Irene had a lot of clout with this group of people, which was really the big reason he was so excited to bring her. Okay, so we see this priority with Dexter has grown again from being in this group of people that he was ostracized from to some extent as a child, right? He was serving these people, but now he's kind of one of them in a very different way. So he ends up going to this party, and lo and behold, who does he run into? Judy Jones. And the thing that's also very interesting and symbolic about this, she's clad in gold, right? She is decked out, okay? So we see kind of the golden girl, right, that Dexter has been going after for so long. And, you know, she kind of teases and flirts with Dexter, and Dexter knows, okay, what she's playing at, okay, and she's kind of pushing little hints at him that, oh, she still misses him, and how are you? And we see his perspective, his thoughts, as she's saying these things like, oh, Dexter, you have the most beautiful eyes, right? And in his head, he tries not to laugh, right? Because he knows how silly this is, and he knows that she doesn't mean it. Okay, and then she mentions that she still loves him and that she would wants him to marry her, wishes that he would marry her. And then she's like, oh, well, I hear that you're giving Irene Shear a rush, right? So that is the thing that is tipping off Judy, right? Dexter is something Judy thinks she can't have because Irene Shear has already staked him out. But if she can move that wall, she can get what she wants, okay? This is how Judy Jones operates. She goes after the things she thinks she can't have because she's Judy Jones and she can get whatever she wants. And she does, right? Dexter falls for Judy Jones again, okay? And he even mentions at one point that this is right after they meet, that he felt more like he was on opium than in a tonic. Okay, so opium, it's a drug, right? It deadens you. Whereas a tonic, you're in this rush, right? And he's back in the tonic, okay, when he comes back with Judy in the car. And he ends up spending the night with Judy and obviously losing Irene Shear. But the other thing that's interesting is Dexter even says he wouldn't have changed things. Okay, he still would have walked back with Judy into the house, even if he had known that she was going to lose Irene Shear. Okay, so it makes us as the audience wonder, okay, was he truly in love with Judy Jones, or is he in love with the idea of Judy Jones? Okay, again, the fact that she is clad in gold, okay, we know that Dexter is trying to achieve this amount of wealth, okay, and we see that a little bit in Judy's character too, okay. So then part 5 is very quick, right? He ends up selling off the business, which is told to us at the very beginning of the story, okay? The narrator, which we're going to talk about in a moment, says that, he ends up selling the business, but he's telling the story of the events in between him buying the business and selling it. So he does that, he goes back to New York, and then World War I breaks out, and he ends up going to fight World War I, and he says it's because he's trying to forget what's happened. So part 6 goes 7 years later, and 7 years later he's back in New York, and it's even mentioned that there are no barriers for Dexter, right? He has surmounted all of these barriers. He's accrued all this massive wealth, okay? He is top dog, okay? He's made it. But we wonder, I know, top dog, okay? We wonder if that was really his American dream in the first place. Okay, was it to accrue all this wealth and be on top? Because it still doesn't seem to be making him happy. And what's even more interesting, he ends up meeting this guy, Devlin, right? And Devlin is coming back, I think it was from Chicago, I can't remember now. And he talks about this girl that he knew that lived in the same place that Dexter is from, right? Black Bear. And he starts talking about Judy Jones. And the description Devlin gives Dexter about Judy completely takes the wind out of Dexter's sails, okay? And Dexter starts to just lose all of his dreams, okay? Because he still envisions Judy in this one way. And he even says at one point, it was almost as if he had married her himself and watched her deteriorate, right? And become the woman that he no longer knew and no longer really wanted. Okay, so again, it's this idea, was it the idea of Judy Jones, or was it Judy Jones himself that he was so infatuated with? Okay, so once he talks to Devlin, the other thing he finds out is that she's a she's a very loyal spouse, right? And it's actually the opposite for her. Okay, the husband is the one that drinks a lot and he's the one that cheats all the time. Meanwhile, she's at home with kids, which is ironic because once again, Dexter even mentions like, oh, well, she's never going to be a good wife, right? He can't even imagine her with kids, okay? We know that Irene would be an awesome mother, okay? Judy, not so sure. But she ends up being exactly opposite of what Dexter thinks she would turn out to be. And again, she's left holding the bag. Devlin even says, oh, she looks all right. And that is what ticks Dexter off the most, okay? Here's Judy Jones, who's this massive babe, and she's all right. And he goes to bat for Judy. He even says like, well, back in the day, right? She's only 27. Okay, he's getting his backup from Devlin telling him about this. And Devlin even says like, dude, I'm not trying to start a row here. I'm just telling you the way things are. Okay, so we also kind of see this reality versus the dream, right? Okay, what's real and what's not. And the thing, once Devlin leaves, Dexter even says at the very end of the story, this is the last line, that the dream was gone. Okay, and just like that, he doesn't have it anymore. So it's interesting too to see how this dream has always centered around Judy Jones, even from the beginning. Okay, Judy Jones is the catalyst for him moving through the ranks. Okay, and he's accomplished, right? Dexter's done a lot. There's a lot to admire about Dexter. But is he happy? Does he have any meaningful relationships? These are things to think about. So there are a couple things that I want to talk about right now. Don't bite me, I'm sorry. You are going to have a quiz tomorrow, okay? So that's really only going to be our focus for tomorrow, is you guys completing the quiz within the time allowed, okay? I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the only assignment I give you for Thursday. Sorry, guys. I do these a day in advance, so sometimes my days get a little skewed. But for now, what I want you to do, after we've had this discussion, on your discussion board, I want you to answer the following question. Can love and money work together harmoniously? Why or why not? Okay, and I want you to use no, not three, that's a lot. Use 2 examples from the text, okay, and be sure to properly cite it. So use 2 examples from the text that support your answer. And I do want you to reply, so this I do want you to do. I want you to agree with one person, and I want you to disagree with one person on the discussion board. Okay, that's all you have for me for today. We'll start reading Great Gatsby tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow you'll take the quiz, and then homework is going to be to read the first chapter of Great Gatsby. I am hoping, I'm hoping to do a Zoom check-in so we can just kind of see how everybody's doing on Friday. And Friday, I'm going to make the day kind of easy because in theory, if we were in school, you really would have only had 20-minute classes because there's a half day in Fleur de Lis Cup. Okay? So, as always, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Reach out through my St. Mary's or email. I really miss seeing you guys. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks and not any later. Till then, stay healthy, stay happy, stay safe, stay sane. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.